I just want to touch on the aspect on banks, of course, bring in Mr. Kamath, who I think knows all there is to know about bank privatization, because, of course, Mr. Kamath spearheaded the ICICI bank privatization. But that when in the budget speech, when Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman talked about privatization of public sector banks, is this a reform which actually the time came many years ago? Is this a reform which you would recommend as something which is urgently needed in India of 2021, especially given the whole focus on credit growth for businesses at a time like this, when we are still looking at the still currently in the pandemic and looking at a possible third wave?
I think there are 2 or 3 points. One was Honorable Prime Minister's statement in Parliament about privatizing public sector banks. Then there was the discussion paper that the Reserve Bank of India, which was put out in terms of allowing a wider set of players into the banking space. I think all these are critical elements of preparing a stronger foundation. And within this, I think we also need to factor in the changes that are taking place in what I call the digitech or the fintech space. So I would think that if we do not change now, if we do not reform now, we are going to face significant more pressure. I'll just use an example from 1991. If I think we had not done what we did then, Indian industry, I'll just take one set of it, would have been just not able to compete later on whenever you wanted, or become a big drag on the Indian growth story. But the fact that they were pushed into this reform process initially felt unsettled, but then found their feet. And within, say, by the year 2000 or so, they were competitive. They could go out globally and try to achieve things. I think the same thing will happen in the financial services space. If we don't do things, they will face challenges. If we do things, they will, leap forward. So I think clearly we need to proceed with the financial sector reform, which I think in a way under, and they are getting done. To me, the most interesting part of it is going to be the new players who come into the payment space and all the allied spaces, probably leaving just pure commercial banking to the banks, and they acting as competitors. I think before that, we have to allow the incumbents to really be in a position to compete in the market.